Frank, you're very much involved in outside of Vibe as well.
Yes, I like to keep myself busy.
Which one is your fondest one, let's say?
I'm I'm very lucky because what I do, what takes a massive amount of time, which is Vibe, is something which I obviously live and breathe. Um, but I still want to try and figure out, for example, JA. I know we're
Yes.
both mentoring
Yes.
for JA. I still want to figure out time for it. It's one of those things that I want to try and find time to do it. It's only my second year mentoring for JA, but it's one of those organizations that's close to my heart that I try and say, you know what, even if the amount if my contribution is this big, I want to figure out a way of again leaving my mark over there as well, even if it's just a little dent. I want to be that. So right now, definitely, I think outside of Vibe, that's taking a lot of my focus, outside of Vibe, and it's something that's constantly at the back of my mind. But again, it's a welcome break, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I think having different perspectives and detaching oneself from. So let me take a step back. I think it's good to be focused on one thing. I think being focused can get you very much ahead. At the same time, I do believe that part of resting is also detaching yourself from that one thing and focusing on something different. So for me, Scouts has always been present in everything I do. So besides volunteering at JA, I volunteer at Scouts as well. Even though nowadays I'm thinking more from a mentoring point of view when it comes to scouting, has been something that it has been a constant so far in my life. So even though occupying a leadership or a mentorship role outside of work helped me have a different perspective. So even though it is deviating me a little bit outside of the focus, it is also supporting me.
But
in that way.
it's a welcome break. That's
Yep.
what I call it. I think it's a welcome break. I think if these little side projects, side gigs you have still align to your personal goal, why do I like spending time with students and mentoring at JA? Because guess what? That's the audience we're trying to deal with. We're trying to engage as a brand. So does it mean that I do it for publicity? No. But it does help me get perspectives,
Definitely.
and it does help me understand what our target audience is
Needing.
is engaging with. I mean, it's a quick way of doing a focus group, if anything.
That's true.
You can bounce off an idea, and see how people react to it. And there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of where you do something and you say, this is why I'm doing it and whatnot, and then you realize that maybe you might want to change your way of doing things because they're not necessarily engaging with that.
And you get foresight in a way that this is the generation that is coming up. These are the people that
Yes.
we need to interact with in a couple of years' time. This might be your audience now, yes, but these will be your ambassadors as well.
No, I mean, my very first interaction with JA was not at mentoring, but was at there was an initiative called Leaders for a Day,
Yes, I remember.
where they get one student to shadow you for a day.
I was there. I did participate on this. Yes, yes.
That student is nowadays a DJ at Vibe.
Okay.
So still a student, but learning the ropes to become eventually a presenter. And
Nice.
that didn't happen overnight. That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we stayed in touch. And then it came to a point where I was like, you know what? You want to sit behind a mic and see how it feels? this person was trying to keep in touch with me for a different role,
Yeah.
for a different job within the thing. And I said, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? You know, horrible air check, and we forget all about it. It's fine. And nowadays, that person is on air. That person is on air, and that for me is
It's an achievement.
it's an achievement. So I do find myself as well then at mentoring level saying, you know what, in a few years this person might be an employee. You know, yes, they still have to go through, I mean, if you're dealing with sixth formers, they still need to go through university,
Yes, it's
possibly
almost
masters. So you're talking about 5 years
5
down
years,
the,
minimum.
5 years
Yeah.
down the line, but you know what? And you start seeing characters, and you start saying, you know what, that person in 5 years' time
But you're
is.
planting the seed, I mean,
So it helps you stay relevant. It helps you keep a foot on the ground. And nowadays, whether it's scouts, whether it's JA or whatever, it's something that I genuinely look out for in CVs.